And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We appreciate you being here with us Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I can't thank you enough for being a part of the broadcast here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. These Great Lakes Honda City Studios honor Great Lakes Honda City on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. You can go and visit them for sales and service Monday through Saturday. So make sure you make your way over to Great Lakes Honda City today and let them know that DT sent you their way. We're with you up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /Wake Up Call DT and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So however you're connected with the show, we thank you so much for tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and truly appreciate your support over the years and into this new year of 2026. So with that, we got a jam-packed show here for you today in the middle of the first full week of 2026 and inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We're going to start things off with an all-new Lazer Lounge episode in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the OCC Lasers. I'll be featuring Deanna Williamson, who will be joining us from the OCC Lasers women's wrestling squad, and so she'll be with us in just a moment. And then around 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, we'll be joined by Malcolm Folk, who will be joining the show, Syracuse and Maine DB alum, and he is currently on the staff of the Maine Black Bears, and so he'll be coming to us as a current Maine Black Bears player personnel analyst, and we'll round out the show at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time with 2026 NFL draft prospect Dion Wilson Jr., a.k.a. Tank, who comes to us from the Syracuse Orange D line. So a lot of great stuff coming up here where sports meets life, and I just realized while I was looking at it, is we have the light blue for Deanna, and then Malcolm Folk was light blue and orange, so he takes that light blue and the orange, and then that orange bleeds into Dion Wilson. So somehow we color-coded the day, which I appreciate, but let's bring in Deanna here with us, picture in picture. Deanna, how are you?
I'm good, Dan.
And so happy to have you here. I mean, I want to go all the way back to the beginning for you. Wrestling, how did you get into it? How did it become a passion of yours?
So I started wrestling when I was 12 years old. So I've been doing it for about 8 years. At the time, I was living in North Carolina. My family's military. My father has been serving in the U.S. Army and is still currently active. And when I was 12, I was finding a sport that I wanted to do because I was old enough to do a sport. And my best friend at the time wanted me to wrestle. And I was deciding whether basketball or wrestling, which is hilarious because I suck at basketball now. Um, then one day my father comes up to me and tells me that we are PCSing. And for those who aren't military, PCSing means permanent change of station. So basically we were moving.
Yeah.
So because I was moving and probably never going to see my current best friend, I decided to wrestle with her. And now, I realized I was good at it. I loved it, even though it was super hard. So I continued doing it. And, 8 years later, here I am. So.
And like you said, I mean, the current move, the permanent move that you had to take, how did you go through that with your best friend? And like you said, so I decided in that moment, like I was going to wrestle. Like how did wrestling preserve a friendship, so to speak?
So with wrestling, we were very close in weight. So we had to be partners a lot. So we spent basically every single day with each other. I don't talk to my best friend anymore.
Okay.
But over the years, I was able to still keep in contact with her until eventually we faded off. But wrestling definitely get me closer with her because we were very connected with wrestling every day.
Yeah, so I mean, you dedicated yourself to that at a time where, there was a lot of change going on in your life. Did wrestling become a constant for you, like being in a military family, knowing that you could move at any given time? Did you utilize wrestling to have some consistency, so to speak?
Yes. Yes. Wrestling, it definitely helped me because we moved a lot given I was a military kid. We could have moved any moment. Wrestling definitely helped me because with discipline and with the achievements, It definitely helped me. Yes.
So when you look back on it and leaning on wrestling and having that be a consistent in your life, how has wrestling given back to you?
So one thing it with discipline, it's definitely helped me, stay on track with meals, with keeping up with working out. I just came from the gym like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Thanks to wrestling, that has kept me disciplined. There's certain times where I just don't want to stay healthy. I didn't want to go to the gym. It's definitely helped me with that. I also love the traveling with wrestling. We go all around with wrestling,
Yeah.
and the achievements for winning was definitely one thing as well. I love winning wrestling. Was with the medals and the fire that goes when going to a tournament and doing well.
When did you know, Deanna, that you were good at it? You said you've been doing it for a while since you were a little kid. When did you kind of get that feeling like I could do this? Like there's something inside of me that's got this.
It was actually my second year wrestling because first year wrestlers usually don't do well because they don't know what they're doing. They don't understand how hard it is. So my first year, I wasn't the best at it. My second year, when I moved and went to a different state, I learned I was really good at it. I was still in middle school, so I still had to wrestle boys.
Yeah.
And I was doing very well given that I had to wrestle boys. I got a lot of tournaments, a lot of wins, a lot of pins. I was like one of the best wrestlers on my team, given that I was basically surrounded by boys and I was like one of the only girls. So I think my second year was when I learned I was really
Hmm.
good at it.
And like you said, I mean, you're doing all of this amidst moving. So for you, you're kind of having this, not kind of, but you're having a fresh start a lot. Was that a
Mhm.
good thing for you in the world of wrestling to wrestle certain people and then get a fresh start, move to a new place and then get a fresh start again? I mean, do you feel like that worked to your advantage that you constantly were able to kind of restart the trajectory of your wrestling career?
There's a lot of pros and a lot of cons when it comes to restarting because surprisingly, every single state has different rules with wrestling. Like one state, they'll say this is okay, and then I go to another state and that's not okay.
Yeah.
In New York, with tournaments, they have, I think it's called classes, sectionals, and then states. I moved from Colorado. That was my last duty station before I moved here. We had completely different names. So when I came here, I had no idea what everyone was talking about. I moved before Colorado, I was in Missouri. There were a lot of things I could have done in Missouri, but when I moved to Colorado, I couldn't do them. They were illegal. So
Yeah.
but it was a lot of pros because I had new partners. I was able to get new perspective from different coaches because every coach is different. Every coach likes one move. Coach Gifford, he likes something called an arm drag. So when I moved here, I learned a lot about arm drags and now I'm actually pretty good at them. So there's a lot of pros and there's a lot of cons, but I would like to say it's definitely more of an advantage. Yes.
So, I mean, were you the type of person where you learned when you went from one state to the next, we went from, Missouri to Colorado to New York and whatnot? Did they give you and kind of say like, hey, here's the rule book, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do? Or did you get on the mat and try to do something and then they stopped you? Like, did you learn in the moment or did somebody kind of give you the new rules, so to speak?
I had to learn at the moment because a lot of places I went to, not everyone is military. Not everyone understands that, hey, this state I can do that and this state I can't do that. So there's a couple of times where I just get on the mat, I do something,
Yeah.
and my coach did have to stop me and say, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. And I had to explain I could have done that in this state. So I didn't understand. So it was definitely a lot of, I had to learn the hard way.
Is there a favorite move that you did in other states that you can't do in New York?
So when I lived in North Carolina, there is a move called a full Nelson. It's where you put your hands in between their arms and behind their neck, and it's super illegal. Like you could break someone's back. I think that's why you can't do that. So I tried to do that when I was in Missouri, and I got called for it in a match. But yeah, full Nelsons are very illegal. You ask any wrestler, you should not be doing that. But when I lived in North Carolina, I was allowed to do that.
You were allowed to do that in North Carolina. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so did you learn the full Nelson from somebody, or like how did that move kind of cross your path, so to speak?
My coach taught me that move. A half Nelson is very common in wrestling. It's one of the most basic move you learn from turning somebody to their back. So full Nelson, he taught us that, and it was like a guaranteed better. This is what he said. It was better than a half Nelson because it was guaranteed to keep them in place.
Yeah.
But it's a good move to break someone's back with. That's why you should be using it. But I was a little kid, so I would, you tell me to do something, I was going to use it, and then I come to Missouri, and they're like, you can't do that. That's illegal. So very
Did you,
dangerous.
did you? How many times did you use a full Nelson in North Carolina?
Probably every single match I had.
Did you win? Did you win them all?
No, because I always went against boys that were longer. So if I did a full Nelson, they would just slip out of it. But there was a couple where I did win, yes, with the full Nelson.
So, like you said, when you get started, you have to wrestle against boys. What was that experience like, and how does that experience kind of command the best out in you? Because, there are certain sports where men and women, boys and girls are put together initially. And so, in the world of wrestling, being in that situation where you're wrestling against boys, what did that teach you? How did that make you better?
Well, boys, you there's two type of boys when they're wrestling girls. Boys that are uncomfortable with girls, so they don't want to hurt them, or boys who have no idea what to do with girls, so they end up going too hard with them. And I always got the guys that were uncomfortable, so they see me and pretend that, or they assumed I would be easy.
Yeah.
So that was why I was so good my second year because boys would see me and go, oh, she's probably going to be really easy, or oh, I don't want to hurt her. And then I end up taking them down because I didn't care whether I hurt them or not. There was a couple times where a guy just didn't know what to do and they would like toss me around. Um, but it was basically once I got a little older, they realized, hey, she can actually wrestle. It was guys like they might be stronger, but I was always more technical, so it was a lot easier to take them down when they underestimated me.
Yeah, and I think that's honestly a lesson with anything in life, right? When somebody looks at you and they underestimate you for any reason, how that really creates a great opportunity for you to take full advantage of the situation. You spoke about right there in that moment that you were going to go hard no matter what. That if they didn't know how to handle you, you were still going to get after it. Did you
Hmm.
ever have times on the mat where, I mean, did you sense people essentially? So they come over and you could sense, okay, this person's uncomfortable. And then right before the match started, did you have a little smirk on your face like, I'm going to take this one?
Yes, I could always tell when a guy would look at me and they'd be like, "Oh, she's probably really easy to take down." Because like guys, they see a girl wrestler and they assume she's not very good because they're stronger or they're heavier. So I always would take them down and I would hurt their ego. Happened every time. I loved it every time.
So, I mean, and you have to have belief in yourself, right? I mean, you have to have that belief and that kind of knowing that you can do this because you're being counted out before the match even starts. So where does that belief come from? Where does that confidence come from in you internally to be able to handle a world that thinks she can't handle me? She doesn't belong here. How have you instilled that confidence?
I think it's my supporters. When I was younger, I had my mother. She was very supportive with me wrestling. Don't get me wrong, she was nervous at first because, wrestling, I'm like getting beat up and she's like, oh, I'm scared, my baby. So, understandably, she was like a little nervous. But yeah, I had many supporters. People would see me and be like, wow, you're an inspiration. I want to wrestle. Right now, my two good friends, one of my friends, he's on the wrestling team. He's my 125 pounder. His name's Jordan Hill. He supports me every single day. If I don't have a partner, because sometimes my partner can't make it, I'll wrestle him. He's really easy on me, but like hard enough to where, I get a good workout in. My other supporter, she's the other girl on the team. Her name's Chloe, and she's never wrestled before, but
Yeah.
she's so passionate in wrestling. She wants to learn everything, and it's great having those two. My one of my biggest supporters. So my supports with my coaches as well, Coach Gifford and Coach Angel. They support me no matter what. And my new coach, Coach Sophia, she's also one of my biggest supporters. So that's how I'm able to believe in myself.
Yeah, you talked about Coach Gifford, Coach Angel, and Coach Sophia individually for each of them. What is it about them that you like to go into each of those relationships, kind of one on one, just why they help you, why this is a good fit for you to be at OCC?
So Coach Gifford, the head of the wrestling team, he is very good with being supportive. Anytime I have a problem, I go to him and I'm like, hey, what do I do? He'll definitely help me out. He's very good at explaining moves in a very simple way. Sometimes it's hard for me to understand things unless they're basically simple. He can explain it very well. He's very supportive. Coach Angel, I wrestle him a lot because we're around the same weight.
Yeah.
So he's one also very supportive. When it comes to anything outside, even outside of wrestling, I'll go to him and ask for help. He's also a military brat. His father was in the military. So when it comes to anything, I think he also served as well. When it comes to military, I'll ask him about it and he'll help me in any way. And Coach Sophia, she is very new to coaching, but I can tell she is doing everything she can, especially when there's just two girls. She's very good at, I think she's part of Mohawk. Mohawk Valley is a club that we go to. So she'll open up Mohawk for me and Chloe whenever we need to. She's very good at keeping us in track. She's like, very, very good friend of mine as well.
Yeah.
She's like, some coaches are very serious with wrestling, and sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need a coach to where you can just go to them and, ask for help with anything. So one of my biggest favorite coaches, those three.
And it sounds like they all kind of hit a different piece for you,
Mm-hmm.
so put together are very helpful. Here in this exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Onondaga Community College, every other Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, we bring you the Lazer Lounge. And here with Deanna Williamson today of the OCC Wrestling program, a student athlete on the team for the 2025-26 season. They're getting this started. OCC men's and women's wrestling, that Zach is trying to bring this to life and make this a real tangible thing. So there's not a lot of student athletes on the women's side of it. What attracted you to going to OCC first and foremost, and then secondly to being a part of a wrestling program where you really get to be a part of history as they are creating and implementing this program as you're on it?
So this is not my first college. I actually transferred here from a college in Colorado, Trinidad State College, Junior College. And one of my best friends, she was on my team, was looking for a new college to wrestle at. The college just wasn't, she didn't like it. She didn't care for it. So she was looking all around the country for a new college. Women's wrestling for college isn't very big, unfortunately. Um, I hope it gets better. I hope it gets bigger once the years go by, but a couple of years ago it wasn't. She found OCC. She contacted Gifford and was like, hey, I want to wrestle here. I heard you guys have a new program. And Coach Gifford was like, perfect. We need girls. So she was planning on transferring here. She set up an account, got classes, she got a dorm situated. She was ready to move here. And she called me and was like, hey, I'm going in this school. And I was like, let me come with you because New York, that's awesome. I would love to go to New York. I've always, and given my military background, is very easy to move. I was like, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, she couldn't make it. She couldn't afford the school. Um, with her being out of state and then with the dorms, and I think she wanted to be in a nursing program, everything was too expensive for her. So she had to quit OCC and find somewhere else. But I just continued going to OCC. So that's how I'm here. I have to thank her for that. So, and being part of history, I love that I was one of the first women here. Last year, it was just also me and another girl. So I feel honored to be one of the first women to be a part of this program.
And for you, I mean, to make this history, we don't see that a lot, right? With the creation of a new program at a college, that doesn't always happen. And so to be in this moment, it's only going to happen one time ever in the history of OCC, to be a pioneer, essentially, with this OCC women's wrestling team. What can you say about what the experience has been like and what you think Coach Gifford is doing, and if you feel like this thing has some legs and it can be a real thing down the road?
I think it's going great. I love my team. They everyone has passion because my old school people that wrestled, they were there for scholarships, they were there for money. Here, there's nothing. There's no reason for them to be on the team. No scholarship money, no nothing. So they're there because they want to be there. And my team, every single one of them is passionate about wrestling. Even Chloe, who's never wrestled before, very passionate about it. My last year, I traveled with them a lot, and I loved being a part of their team. Loved watching everyone grow. Because some people are a little newer than others. Even the more experienced, everyone is growing.
Yeah.
And I love it so much. Coach Gifford, I think it's because like in the area, there's not a lot of people who wrestle. But I see a lot of potential in this program. If people just knew more about it, I think it's just we're not as big as we should be. But I see potential growth in a couple of years, maybe even next year. I can see a lot of growth.
So if you're the spokesperson for OCC Lazer's women's wrestling, and you're looking out to the world right now, we reach people all over the country and outside of the country here on Wake Up Call. What's your pitch to them on why they should come here?
Well, OCC, the wrestling team, again, everyone's here because they want to be here. So passion, everyone is very passionate about wrestling. Coach Gifford, Coach Angel, they're very passionate about wrestling. They love it. They will, if even if you've never wrestled before, they will teach you. They want to see you grow. They don't want, when it comes, I know weight classes is a big thing for wrestling. They want you where you're best at. So OCC is definitely a great place to go to if you want to get better, if you want to start somewhere, and you want to do your best, and you want biggest supporters. Those two, even Sophia, she's with the women's wrestling, biggest supporters. So OCC would definitely be a great place to start at.
And you're a physical therapy assistant is what you're going to school for. So bring me into that and the student side of student athlete. Why physical therapy, and just your passion for that and how that's been going?
So I wanted a job that has me help people and kept me fit, right? So over the years, there's so many jobs that I thought about, like police officer, firefighter, something that wanted basically to help people. I picked physical therapy because that's the place where people go to while they're hurt, they're injured, and they want to get better.
Yeah.
I wanted to basically be the doctor after them going to the doctor. I guess if that makes sense. I just wanted to help people. At the moment, I don't know if I want to be a physical therapist for athletes or maybe at a nursing home, but that is, in the future, I will eventually see where it takes me. But yeah, that's the main reason. I just wanted to help people get better.
Well, Deanna, it has been a pleasure getting to hear your story and hearing your why. We're going to play some rapid fire. We can put each other on the hot seat. It could be any question, any topic. So there's nothing off the table. You get to ask the first question. We'll go back and forth. I'll ask you, after you ask me, and we'll get a few in here. What is your first question for me?
So what made you want to do a podcast and interview student athletes?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny whenever I get asked a question when it comes to podcasting, because I tell people, I'm like, I don't know what that means. I'm a broadcaster, and I went to school for a lot of different things in the media worlds, and some of it digital media and broadcasting. So to me, you give me a microphone, you give me a camera, an opportunity, and it's no different. I mean, to me, this is no different than being on television. Sitting at a desk, I'm talking about sports, or if it's a radio station, having a microphone right next to my face and sitting in a room. So I would say what made me get into it, I love telling stories. I love bringing people together. I love making people laugh. And I don't know. I've always had a passion for sports. I've always, I collected cards growing up. I'd flip it to the back and I'd look at the statistics and flip it to the front and not even think about it. And I'd just be like spewing off the stats I saw. So I was like, okay, I'm taking in the information. I have a photographic memory. I love sports. I play sports. I love bringing people together, being positive, showing people that God loves them, making them laugh, having fun. And so it kind of just became a vehicle for me to spread love, spread positivity, spread faith, and to help people know that they matter. And why student athletes? Because, I mean, I went to school before. I was recruited D3 for basketball. I definitely have a love for letting people know that they all have a story to tell. It doesn't matter where you go to school. It doesn't matter what level you think you're at. I believe that everybody should have the opportunity to tell their story. So it's been my mission of over 5,000 guests. I lost track after 5,000, but it's been my mission to bring people to that spotlight, whether or not they think they deserve it, to give it to them and to give them an opportunity to share with everyone who they are and their why, and hopefully that inspires somebody else. So I would say that. My question back to you, Deanna, if you took over my show for the day and it was Wake Up Call with Deanna Williamson, what 3 special guests would you have on the show? Can be anybody. Doesn't have to be sports. Could literally be anybody in the world. What 3 guests would you have and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, I would probably have do they have to be alive?
No.
That's good. Mm, One of them, so I am a child of God. So I would love to have a podcast with Jesus himself, just talk about his experiences. I would love to just talk to him. Any questions I have for him, I would just, for hours, just talk about the Bible. And then like celebrities, I would want totally random. I want to talk to Michael Jackson.
Okay.
He seems like a very interesting guy.
Yeah.
And like, I want to hear his story. I want to hear like when because I think he was a child's singer,
Yeah.
and then he grew up with it. And ooh, these are good questions. The last person probably uh another random Britney Spears. My mom read a book about Britney Spears about her experiences, so I
Yeah.
would love to ask her more about that book. I thought it was very interesting. I plan on reading that book very soon.
Yeah. I love that. Now, I've said Jesus before when I've been asked who would I interview, and Britney Spears, I worked 2 of her concerts at the Great New York
Ooh.
State Fair, so that was interesting. And I will credit Michael Jackson with teaching me how to dance, because when I was a kid trying to learn, I was standing in my grandmother's living room and she had a slippery like floor surface, and so I would stand there and I would try to spin 2 to 3 times in a row and then land. And so I credit Michael Jackson with helping me to keep my balance growing up for sure. What's your next question for me?
Next question. So you said you had a photographic memory, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So what's some like pros about that? And is there any cons on having photographic memory?
It's an interesting question. I would say the pros are that I can. So there was this one day I had a test in high school, and it was a social studies test, and I couldn't remember the information. It was like what I think it was like five things. Like, give us these five things that, to answer this question. What are the five things that are connected to this specific topic? And I couldn't remember like at all. So I went in my head and I went to my notebook and I started sifting through my notebook, and I was like going like pages through and going, no, it's not on that page. It's in the bottom left corner. So I remember going in my head through my notebook to the bottom left corner and then just writing down what I saw. And
Wow.
so that, like, I would say that's cool because it helped me in a test. I would also say, when it comes to knowing where I am, if I go to a new city and I start to like I'm going back to Atlanta for the college football playoff this week. So in my head, I'm like, okay, if I stay at this hotel, if I come out of the hotel and I go around the corner on the right side and I walk up the hill and down the hill a little bit, there's a nacho place that I love called Tin Lilies. So like I just know in my head, if I stay at this hotel, all I have to do is come out, go right, go up and down the hill, and it's right there on the left. So, and
Mm.
it helps when I'm in New York City because I don't know streets, but like I'll remember where things are. So, I would say there's a lot of good to it. The negative, uh, I can remember like okay. I mean, this is full disclosure. I'm an honest person on and off the air. So, like, if I dated somebody in the past and they fought with me, I can go back to that fight and I can remember what they said and where I was. Like, I can literally go back to the room. So, I would say having a photographic memory helps in remembering anything, but sometimes, you remember you kind of remember sometimes what people say that was hurtful in the moment. So you have to heal from it because you can go back to it. Like I can go right back into a room and I could tell you this is what this person looked like, this is what they did. So I guess there's that side of it too. But, you live and learn. What is your so that was your question to me. So my question back to you, hmm, if you had the power of teleportation and you could close your eyes and appear anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
So I've always wanted to go to California.
Okay.
Um, Given with military, I traveled a lot. We're in the east, right? Around over here.
Mm-hmm.
So I always wanted to go to California. So I'd probably go to like, anywhere around there just so I could see the sights, visit California. I know people say it's expensive, so I kind of want to see how expensive California is, just a curiosity.
Yeah.
And I love warm weather. I was told California is very warm, so I'd love to just visit there one time. So if I could, I would definitely teleport to California just so I could see everything.
Well, I would tell you I had never been until 2000. Well, now we're in 2026. So I had never been until 2024, December of 2024. And I went to San Diego. I would say if you're going to go to California, go to San Diego and experience their food. I had cactus for the first time. That was really good. So,
Huh.
yeah, definitely go get yourself some San Diego food. Go to Old Town and get some fajitas, and those will change your life. And and then you'll come home and be like, you'll come back to New York and you'll be thinking like, how do I make this? It was so. I've had fajitas a million different times, and I've never had them like San Diego. What is
Wow.
your last question for me?
You said D3 basketball player.
Hmm.
What was that experience for it? Did you like having D3 basketball, and like was there any do you wish you could go back to it, basically?
So I got recruited D3. I was coming off a coach in high school my senior year that I was not. It was a bad experience. It was probably the worst coach I've ever had.
Mhm.
And so the coach called me from Marywood University, and I was like, I don't know, coach. I wasn't in the right mindset. I didn't want to take it out on him. And I was upset. Like, I love basketball, but that guy that I had as a coach in high school would like, it's almost like he wanted us to hate basketball. So I, I don't even want to say it like that. he just wasn't he was a bad leader. He kind of showed you everything you don't want to be as a coach. And like, so I kind of took a step back, and he's like, oh, if you don't play with us this year, just work out with us. So I'm like, I don't know. And I was going back and forth. And then I got called to broadcast a game, and that started my broadcasting career at 18 years old. And I never let it go. So I never got to play a moment on the court. In my senior year at Marywood, I thought about it. I was like, man, I really love basketball. Do I want to give up the opportunity to play? But I didn't want to give up broadcasting. So do I have any regrets about it? No, because it started my career. But I will say, not a regret. I care more about cardio now. I care more about walking and jogging and whatnot now. So if I could go back in time, I would get myself to do that more, because I always had a passion, always played, always practiced, always went out, and took shots and whatnot. And if you put a basketball in my hand, I'd run all day. But I didn't like running. And I would say if I could do anything in the past, I would go back to myself as a kid, and I'd be like, hey, I know you don't want to get on the track, but go do it because it's going to pay off. So I would say that would be the one thing, not a regret, but just advice to myself.
Mm-hmm.
My question back to you, Deanna. I'm really hungry, so I'm going to go to food. So what if you could have one breakfast, one lunch, one dinner? They're all different meals, but you have to have this set of meals every day for the rest of your life. What breakfast, what lunch, what dinner?
So if I had to have breakfast, probably eggs, bacon, and toast.
Okay.
Mainly for the protein. But I love bacon.
Okay.
So lunch, I'd probably have like spaghetti. I like spaghetti. It's really good. And then dinner, I would probably have steak and my mother's mac and cheese. She gets like four types of cheese. She blends them together and then she bakes it. It's like one of the best mac and cheese I've ever had. So if I could eat those, I definitely would. So I think those three would be like my main thing.
The more combination of cheese, the better, and baking it makes sense. So I want that. I want that mac and cheese in my life. So are there care packages that ever come to you at OCC?
Care packages? No,
Yeah,
no.
no. Okay, I was gonna say we need a mac and cheese care package and then a little separate one on the side so that I can try this mac and cheese. That's what we need. So Deanna Williamson here with us this morning. OCC Lasers, go and support the women's wrestling team. And I called her a pioneer. And ironically, and by the grace of God, what's their next open? The Pioneer Open. That is this Sunday, January 11th in Alfred, New York at Alfred State College. Deanna, it was my pleasure to have you on the show today. I thank you for being a pioneer and starting something new at OCC. And I also thank you for telling your story, and more than anything else, that you proudly said that you are a child of God. Means the world to me. So keep that front and center, and I'll look forward to talking with you soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day. Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you. That coming from Deanna Williamson once again here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in this edition of the Lazer Lounge. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break, and when we come back, Malcolm Folk is going to be joining us from Syracuse and Maine football history, and currently with the Maine Black Bears. So we will be talking with Malcolm Folk right after this fast break. I'm very excited to have Malcolm back on the show. We've stayed in touch for many years. We've stayed in touch on social media. And, we talk about being a child of God and being connected to God. Well, Malcolm is the same and has that as well. And we've connected in many ways on inspirational and positive things when it comes to God. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break inside the Great Lakes Honda Studios. When we come back, my guy is back on the show, Malcolm Folk, in just a moment.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to Buffalo, they're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing, and so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Proud to be here with you, hanging out inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. And they are there for sales and service Monday through Saturday. Let them know that DT sent you. And, of course, you can go online to GreatLakesHondaCity.com and get a sneak peek of their inventory at any given time. So we are here picture in picture with Malcolm Folk. I spoke with Malcolm many years ago when he was going through his recruitment, trying to figure out what school he was going to go to, and he makes the decision to go to Syracuse, eventually transfers to Maine, and now he's a current player personnel analyst for Maine football, and I'm just happy to have him in my life. You look at your social media and you see the people you're connecting with, and Malcolm and I have just stayed connected, and a lot of it through inspirational stuff, like I said, through faith, which means the world to me. So, beyond everything else, he's been a supporter. He's always been there, and I wanted to pay it back and have him here on the show to let you all see him again and get to spend some time with somebody who's always been in my corner. So with that being said, Mr. Folk, how we doing?
Dan, I'm doing well. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy to have you here. So, Malcolm, it's been a minute since you and I have been on the show together. So bring me into now hindsight 2020. You come to Syracuse. You're a DB there. You feel like, hey, maybe it's better for me to go elsewhere. You go into the portal. You go through the process. You go to Maine. Bring me through all of that. Let's go through kind of your journey from high school to Syracuse, Syracuse to Maine.
Yeah, so high school football, and high school in general was awesome. I was fortunate enough to play pretty early in my freshman year. So my recruiting process kicked off right after my freshman year. And Syracuse was one of the first schools that reached out to me and started recruiting me. And I've been up to Syracuse numerous times for camps and visits and whatnot. And after my junior year was COVID. So COVID took the world by storm, and I felt it recruiting a lot because recruits in my class or juniors and sophomores weren't able to go up to schools to visit in person.
Yeah.
Uh, so during that COVID time, Syracuse actually offered me, and I always loved Syracuse. I loved the campus. I knew a lot of my friends were going there or were already there from my area in Pennsylvania. I loved the defense. I really just loved everything about Syracuse. And honestly, when they offered me, it took me about 2 days to come to a decision that I was going to commit. It just felt like home to me. And I early enrolled there out of high school. So I started, college, went through spring ball as a senior. And that was really a great experience, important experience for me to kind of hit the ground running and kind of get engrossed in college football life and then academically as well. So I spent 3 years at Syracuse. Really enjoyed my time there. Learned a lot. I got a chance to play ACC Power Five football, which was my dream. So forever grateful for Syracuse, and definitely made a lot of good relationships and friends along the way. So I graduated in 3 years and decided to enter the transfer portal and explore some other opportunities. And landed at the University of Maine. Previous relationship with Coach DeMayo. He recruited me out of high school. He's now the defensive coordinator here at Maine. So I enrolled in January and kind of hit the ground running. Just wrapped up my last year of football this past year at Maine. Played a lot of ball. It was a lot of fun and really made some good relationships and friendships that last me a lifetime here. And I kind of always knew once I stopped playing football, I really wanted to stay involved in the sport and stay involved in college athletics in general. So immediately after our season concluded, I reached out to the head coach, Coach Jordan Stevens, and just expressed my interest and wanted to help the team in any way I could. But I really wanted to get into player personnel and recruiting. I think my ultimate goal is to become a college GM and then eventually an NFL GM after that. So Coach Stevens so graciously allowed me to come and help out. So right now, I really just started Monday. Right now, really just hosting recruits on their visits. With the transfer portal just opening up, it's a busy time in college football. So I'll be doing a lot of recruiting, a lot of evaluating high school player film, a lot of face-to-face stuff, and then I'll be helping coaching as well. So really, at a school like Maine, you're really able to wear a lot of hats and get a lot of different experience in different areas. Which is what I want, obviously, having just stopped playing the game of football like a month ago. Really just want to get a lot of experience as I can. So that kind of leaves me where I am today. Really grateful for Syracuse, the opportunity here, and especially grateful for the University of Maine, and kind of excited about the next steps ahead for me.
Yeah, man, and I love that, and I appreciate you sharing your story. I mean, it's crazy because it seems like we met forever ago, but like you said, you just finished up playing, and going through that experience of, I mean, you play football pretty much all your life, and then you say, I still want to be involved in it. How hard was it for you to come to that end of your playing career, hang your cleats up? I mean, how did you kind of go through that? Bring me through, let me be a fly on the wall of you finishing up your time at Maine and then taking those cleats and then putting them up on the wall and just kind of looking at them and saying to yourself, like, okay, it's time for the next chapter.
Yeah, it's been crazy because I was actually going through a process of applying for a medical hardship waiver. I had a foot injury a few years ago that I was trying to get an extra year eligibility back. So once, it was kind of a 50-50 shot of whether I would get it back. And this is all going through, this past season. So really just trying to stay focused, on playing, 12 game season and being there for my teammates and my coaches. And also kind of thinking about, okay, well, I could have another year to play, or I could be done for good. It's definitely been a challenge. I mean, it's never easy. But I think honestly, I'm at peace with it. I think I definitely poured everything I had into the game. and definitely left football without any regrets. And honestly, really excited about this next chapter. I mean, it's going to be a challenge. I'm going to have to learn a lot, but that's what I love to do. I love to learn. I love to grow. I think I have a unique skill set that I'll be able to bring to this space for sure.
And going through the process of applying for a medical red shirt, just, bring me through that, because I've been around student athletes that have gone through it, but you never really get to know the inner workings of it. So when you go out to the NCAA, bring me through this actual process, like what you have to do, how time consuming is it? Is it a lot of paperwork? Just, bring me into the actual, okay, I'm sitting down, I want to apply for a hardship waiver, the steps of doing that, how long it takes for them to get back to you, because I'd love to know more about the inner workings of that, because I've heard players do it before, and players, I know there's a player, I think at Syracuse, that tried to apply for a waiver, but you never really know about the process itself.
Yeah, well, I think honestly it's a case by case basis, but for me, it honestly was pretty simple. I think I had got my medical records from my previous school, and then got them over to the compliance officer at Maine. And honestly, the compliance officers, they handle all the paperwork. They go through the NCAA and they submit the paperwork on your behalf. So honestly, my process took a few weeks. It took me about a week to get the paperwork over,
Yeah.
and then the compliance officer submitted it within the next few days, and then we heard back probably a few weeks after that. So my process took about a month. Some other players, their processes are more lengthy or the shorter. Really kind of depends on the paperwork they need from NCAA.
So you find out, they say, you don't have, bring me through that when they tell you, like, you applied for this medical red shirt, we're not going to give you another year of eligibility, just how you went through that process. And I know you're a man of God, so how did you kind of navigate through not hearing exactly what you wanted to hear?
Yeah. So I found out right after the season. Probably our last game was November 22nd. I probably found out right after Thanksgiving. So I think leading up to that, I had to mentally prepare myself that I wouldn't get it back, but then also prepare myself that I would. So when the compliance officer told me that I did not get my year back, obviously it hurt. It was definitely difficult to kind of realize, the college football, I was done. I was done for good. But at the same time, I definitely, had faith in God and God's plan for me. And
Yeah.
I had a plan if I didn't get it back. And, I took a day or two to try and just embrace my emotion, embrace my feelings. And then after that, I went to work. I called up my head coach, called up assistant coaches, and just asked to get involved. And then it kind of just went from there. But it was definitely difficult for sure. But at the same time, I've had confidence, throughout, my relationships and God and my family, that I was able to kind of transition pretty smoothly, and it definitely worked out that way.
Did you always, when you come into Maine and spending some time at Maine and being a part of this program, when you thought about, hey, I want to stay connected to football, even when I'm done playing, I still want this to be a part of my life, like you said, to be a GM collegiately and then eventually to be a GM in the NFL. Was it Maine that spoke to you? Like when you said, reaching out to your head coach, Jordan Stevens, and, the coaching staff and whatnot, what was Maine the plan? Was it like, hey, if I don't get this medical red shirt, I want to stay here. I like this program. I want to learn from this program. I feel like I've built a good network here. Was it always to start your professional career outside of college at Maine?
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. I think I really enjoyed my year here playing. I really enjoyed the coaching staff. They've been awesome to me. The players are great. And yeah, definitely, I've always knew if I didn't get my year back, I wanted to get started here. I think I built such a good relationship with the coaching staff, and I think I would be able to really do a lot here and really learn a lot from these coaches as well. Like I said, Maine's a place where you can truly get engrossed in a lot of different areas. And I really think I can learn the most here. I can grow, and also kind of show that I can add the most value here as well.
Why Maine? When you say like, yeah, it was definitely Maine. What is it about this program and the year that you spent there playing that has just made you feel like this is a good community for me? This is a good place for me to start my career. If it was always Maine, why?
Yeah, I think the people make the place. I feel as though, even when I visited, like this time last year, I went on my official visit, which is crazy in its own right. But even when I got off the plane and I met my safeties coach and I met the defense coordinator, really all the coaches, they really made me feel welcome. I was able to connect with them rather instantly, and that's something that I truly value. And then when I started when a workout, being new and being a transfer, it's never really easy. I mean, but the players really took myself and all the other transfers in like family almost instantly, and I was able to connect and gel with the whole team um, pretty quickly. And then not even just the football team, just the whole athletic department. I have a good relationship with Judy Kelly, the AD, and then on the athletic development fundraising side, I'll be doing work with them as well. So I was able to connect with pretty much everyone in the athletic department,
Yeah.
um, and then just that part, along with the people here, really just made me want to stay a lot longer.
And when you reached out to the coaching staff and you said, "Hey, I want to be here. I appreciate my time here, and now as I transition into the world of, being a part of the behind the scenes of a football team, I want to do it here." How receptive were they of you right off the bat? When you reached out to the coaching staff, what was that immediate response from them?
It was awesome. Actually, my my safeties coach, once I found out how to get my year back, he called me right away and asked, what my plan was. And I told him that I wanted to stay and help out on off the field role or in the field role with the team. And he told me to talk to Coach Teams right away, and that's what I plan on doing. So the fact that Coach Harrison, he wanted to make sure I had a plan shows a lot because obviously at that time, I wasn't playing, but he still wanted to make sure that I had a plan for my future. And when I called Coach Stevens to talk to him, I mean, he was very receptive. He wanted me to get involved as much as possible, even some of the areas that I wanted to get involved in. He wanted me to do more. So that's a credit to him, and then kind of just trusted me. And then also I'm getting my MBA too, and they're paying for my education for me to finish out my degree, which I'm so grateful for. But that's very important for me and my family. So yeah, I can't speak enough good things about Maine and their generosity, and then the coaching staff as good people.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've heard about Maine before. Maine has come across, my path a bunch of times for different reasons over the years, but never at the opportunity to spotlight it as much as we are right now. And Malcolm, I know you're a good guy. I know you're a good person. So to hear that Maine is this way with you, it makes me want to spend some more time with Maine. It makes me want to reach out to their athletic department and learn a little bit more about them and just kind of what makes them tick because of how they've treated such a good person. So I want to give a shout out to the Maine Black Bears, and I want to thank you for what you've done and for giving an opportunity to Malcolm here and for paying for that MBA so that he can continue on scholastically at Maine and to really, do what he wants to do in his life. I think is a fantastic story. And there's so many places I could go with this, but you said you want to eventually be a general manager on a college football team and then go to the NFL and be a GM. I don't think you know this about me, but when I was a junior in high school, we could do anything for our intro to business class with Virginia Mannion. Shout out to Mrs. Mannion. And I made the decision to do my project on being the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's
So,
awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
there you go.
So I got a good grade on that too. So I want to know your why. Why start in player personnel right now? And why do you have the vision of being a GM collegiately and eventually a GM in the NFL? Why be a general manager?
Yeah, I think player personnel is this area that I really got accustomed to. Actually, at Syracuse, kind of really towards my last year, I started hosting incoming recruits on their official visits. So I really had the opportunity to connect with the recruits and their families, and that's something I enjoyed, and something that I actually was pretty good at. So I kept that in the back of my mind. And obviously, I love football too. I love to watch film. I love to evaluate. I love to write reports. So player personnel was always an area that I wanted to explore post my football career. And
Yeah.
then obviously recently in college football with the changing landscape and the NIL, the revenue sharing, college front offices are becoming very important. And, I was reading about that. And then, I love business, the business side. Obviously, I'm getting my MBA. And I love to, connect with people. I'm also working in donor relations too in Maine. And a GM would be a perfect role to encompass all my passions and I feel so all my strengths. So I realized that probably during this time last year and just kind of hit the ground running with that.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, getting your MBA, having the experience as a player, putting all this together, give me the pitch. So you're here right now, you got an opportunity. Let's say that college, programs, Maine is looking at this right now, the NFL is looking at this right now. Why should I hire Malcolm Folk to be my general manager?
I think you should hire Malcolm Folk because I bring a unique skill set to college athletics in general. Obviously, I'm a former player, played for 5 years, so I know the game. I'm able to relate to players and their families, because I play the game at different levels. I played at Power Five, I played at FCS. I think I experience in donor relations, especially at the college level. You need alumni support. You need people to give. I've experienced in that realm, and then also I've experienced the business side in my MBA. So I'm a very multifaceted candidate who can do it all.
Malcolm Folk, big things coming from this man. Knew that a long time ago. Syracuse and Maine DB alum and current player personnel analyst for Maine football here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. I want to take a look at the conference that you played in the Coastal here and the Coastal Athletic Association, the CAA. Villanova came out of that, and obviously Villanova rose to the Final Four of this. And so we look at Rhode Island, Villanova, New Hampshire, Monmouth, William and Mary, as well as Elon, Stony Brook, Towson, North Carolina A&T, Campbell, Bryant, UAlbany, Hampton, and of course where you played at Maine. How would you describe having played in the ACC? How would you describe the FCS talent and the Coastal Athletic Association? Because people want to talk about power to non-power, FCS, FBS, and they want to kind of create this hierarchy. I don't necessarily believe in any of that. And I think the FCS National Championship with a former Syracuse player as well, Justin Lamson, throwing that touchdown at the end in overtime to get the victory. When I see the FCS, I see a ton of talent. I see an awesome playoff schedule. I see an awesome playoff system. And, there's a lot of really high talented student athletes that are there. So bring me into the Coastal Athletic Association, having been in the ACC, then going over to the CAA, just what your takeaways were from it and what you can say about the overall play of the FCS.
Yeah, the CAA is a great conference. It's been a great conference for a number of years now. And honestly, at the skill position, between the ACC and CA, there really isn't that much of a difference. I mean, you have great running backs, you have great receivers, great DBs. I can't speak highly enough about the CA. And obviously, the FCS championship game. I mean, that speaks volumes to the level itself. I mean, there's a lot of good ball players on Maine. So honestly, yeah, I mean, there's great competition at the CA, great competition at the FCS, and yeah, I really, really enjoyed my year playing. It was very competitive. It was a lot of fun too.
And for for you, I mean, when you reflect on this, you reflect on your time at Syracuse and the opportunities you had there, and then the opportunity you've had at Maine. How have you grown as a player, and how have you grown as a person? When we talk about you now being a player personnel analyst, it's now your job to analyze the players that are there. So to analyze yourself for a second, how did Malcolm Folk grow from stepping into college to going in the portal to where you are right now?
Yeah, I think I've grown tremendously. I think coming out of high school, I was a really good athlete, very physical player, but I didn't know a lot about the game. Just the small, minute details that you learn in college take you a long way, especially at the safety position. So really kind of just stepping in and learn from Coach Monroe right away. As a early enrollee was greatly beneficial. And Syracuse's defense, they ran the 3-3-5 under Coach Tony Way. So it's a lot of man coverage, a lot of blitz schemes, a lot of cover three. So I really got pretty good at playing man the slot. And then coming to Maine, Maine's more four down front quarters based scheme. So I played more in the boundary safety. So I was involved in a lot of run fits. And the cool thing about Maine's defense is the safeties are basically the quarterbacks of the defense. We make all the checks, all the adjustments of the defense. So you really have to know the defense from a holistic view and be able to read and recognize and communicate effectively in high pressure environments. And that part right there is what I enjoyed the most, being able to use my intellect and being able to get my teammates and myself aligned in the right positions for success. So yeah, I've grown night and day, and definitely the differences between Syracuse and Maine were definitely great. But I think I was able to kind of use my experiences at Syracuse to help Maine, and then use my experiences at Maine. They're going to help me in my post football life.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, as a player personnel analyst, you're dealing with donors, you're dealing with raising money, you're dealing with the portal, getting recruits on campus, their visits and whatnot. So, I mean, now that you're on the other side of it, just what you can say to that element of it, you're now a part of trying to bring somebody in as opposed to being the person that they're trying to get on the team. You're now the person that's trying to help people choose Maine. So bring me into how that challenges you and the experience that you have with that to say, okay, I know what I liked. I know it mattered to me when I went on a visit. Now you get to be a part of the reason. I mean, I could be talking to somebody a few months from now, a year from now, 10 years from now that says, Malcolm Folk's the reason why I chose Maine. So bring me into being on that side of it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think I have changed my perspective. Obviously, I've been a player for past 5 years. So I naturally have empathy for players and kind of what they go through and kind of what they, are about. And I think I can shift my focus now from being, a player to basically a coach, and just analyzing, the player from a different viewpoint, more of a result driven, basis, in the sense that, okay, well, is this, player, he might be a good guy, a hard worker, but can he get the job done or not? Is he truly a good fit for this program, or is he not? Because now I'm part of the staff, and the decisions that I help make could either help the team or hurt the team. So this changing my mindset, I think, would be I've already done that, but it's something I have to continue to do. But I think obviously me being a player helps me analyze players better as well. So I think that'll be the greatest challenge for me, something that I'm going to enjoy doing.
Yeah. Malcolm Folk, excited to see what's going to come from this. And I already know from this conversation that him and I will be talking off the air, because now I got some ideas. So, Malcolm, let's jump into rapid fire. Let's have some fun with this thing. You can put me on the hot seat. I'll put you on the hot seat. We'll go back and forth. You get the first question. What do you got?
All right. Favorite holiday movie, Christmas movie?
Oh, favorite Christmas movie. Gotta be, I can't choose between the two. It's got to be Home Alone 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Just because,
Big rich.
I mean, like, I remember when my buddy Jay, his mom left and she left us in the house around Christmas time years and years ago, and we were younger. So we set up a bunch of traps in the house in case somebody broke in. So we did our own Home Alone traps. I can also do Joe Pesci, an impression of Joe Pesci. So I definitely I got to pick Home Alone, and I watched it numerous times this Christmas and Thanksgiving season. So I own them, yet I'll watch them when they're on TV, and I watch them a lot. So I love
That's
Home
awesome.
Alone. My question back to you, if you could go into any Christmas movie and you could live in that world, what Christmas movie would Malcolm Folk forever be a part of?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm gonna go the Polar Express. That's just a childhood staple. My sister and I's. I mean, we would watch that. I mean, we still watch it to this day. I just think, being a kid and then embarking on a journey, on getting on the train and whatnot, it just seems so cool to me. So definitely Polar Express for sure.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it. What's your next question for me?
Mm, favorite fast food place.
Man. Well, I work with a bunch of them, and I helped to be a part of the opening of 4 of them in central and upstate New York is Chick-fil-A. So I got to say the peppermint chip shake around the Christmas season is a must. But if I chose something outside of Chick-fil-A that we don't have in central New York, it would be Zaxby's all day. So I got to say Zaxby's in the south and then Chick-fil-A up at home. But I love Chick-fil-A. And
There you
Chick-fil-A,
go.
the reason why I love Chick-fil-A is like their fast food doesn't taste like fast food. So that's why I love it. I don't mess around with a lot of fast food. My stomach does not like that stuff.
Yeah,
So I would say if I'm going somewhere, I'm going to Chick-fil-A or Zaxby's.
those definitely
All right.
great choices.
Thank you. My question back to you, if we were to create a Malcolm Folk meal, where would the meal be? What restaurant would the meal be at? And what would be the meal?
Great question. The meal would definitely be cheeseburger,
Okay.
French fries,
Okay.
and definitely dessert would be some sort of ice cream. That's just what I love. The
Okay.
best. I'm trying to think. That's a great question. Honestly, I keep it pretty simple. Five Guys has great burgers. I mean, I just always loved Five Guys since a kid. So whenever, honestly, my cheat meal is at Five Guys. Get a nice double cheeseburger,
Okay.
get some Cajun fries, and then after get a Dairy Queen Blizzard, and I'm all set.
What do you put in the blizzard?
Some sort of chocolate. I'm a chocolate fiend. So chocolate, Oreos. I forget what it's called. I think it's like chocolate brownie something, but
Okay.
it's definitely some sort of chocolate, some Oreos in there. And get some job done for sure.
Well, I'm telling you this. I am unveiling my new Sunday at Carvel DeWitt in central New York. It will be unveiled here in January, and it's got a little bit of everything. It's got a name to it. It may have some brownie. So
Okay.
I'm gonna have to let you know what that is. We haven't unveiled it yet, but it's coming up and it's gonna be very unique, different, and something that I've never done before.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely let me know on that for sure.
I will. What's your last question for me?
Last question. Favorite Syracuse athlete and why?
Of all time?
Yeah, past or present. Yeah, of all time. Yeah.
Man, probably Donovan McNabb.
Yeah.
Probably Donovan, because I met him and I have a Tully's coaster off my right shoulder that's here in my studio, and he signed it. And when I met him back then, he wasn't really known at the time. And I remember my mom and I were at Tully's. He was working as a host, and he was literally just had a job there. People didn't know who he was, and he was just doing his thing. And my mom and I were like, "That's Donovan McNabb." My dad's like, "No, it's not. You're crazy. He wouldn't work here." And so we kept saying it, and then my dad was like, "No." So when we were walking out my mom's like, I'm going to ask him. And my dad's like, y'all are nuts. He went to the car. So my mom went up to Donovan. She goes, I'm sorry. Like, I don't mean to bother you, but are you Donovan McNabb? And he looks around and he nodded. And she's like, my son loves you. And I'm standing there. She's like, can we have your autograph? And he went and got a coaster, a Tully's coaster, and he signed the back of it. And I remember he played basketball at the time, and I'm a basketball player, so I was upset that he didn't sign number 25. And he signed number 5 quarterback, and I'll never forget what he said. He bent down, and he said, in my mom's ear and my ear at the same time, because we were both standing there with him, he said, I know I'm not anything right now, but watch. I might be somebody someday. And then he was the number 2 overall pick, and he played in the Super Bowl. So
that's awesome. That's a great story.
Yeah, so Donovan, yeah, just know I appreciate you.
Yeah, sure. Most definitely.
My question back to you, Malcolm, if you took over my show for the day and it was Wake Up Call with Malcolm Folk, what 3 deceased people would you have on the show? So people that have passed away, what 3 people would you have on the show and why?
Man, that's a great question. 3 people.
So if you could bring them back, who are you bringing?
Yeah. I'm gonna go personally first. Definitely my grandfather passed away a few years ago. I'll have him on. Definitely just talk to him, ask him questions about himself for sure. I think second one. Two deceased. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's probably the only one. I'm blanking right now.
Okay. Then pick 2 people that are living. So your grandfather and then 2 people that are living.
Yeah, shoot. Another one would definitely be my dad. He's a great guy, has a lot of humor, great personality. Okay. I think he'd add a lot of value to the show for sure. Okay. And I think the last one, I have my mom. I have my mom on there too. Was a great, sweet lady. Yes, probably those 3 for sure. And
I'm sorry to hear about your grandpa. My grandparents are up in heaven as well. So what's your grandpa's first name?
Gary. Yeah.
So if you could say anything to Gary right now, what would you say?
Really appreciate you for everything you've done for me and the family. Definitely hoping to keep making you proud and keep, making the Folk name a great and strong name for many years to come.
Well, I know you're going to do that already, so shout out to Gary, and Gary knows that too. Malcolm Folk here with us, Syracuse and Maine DB alum, current player personnel analyst for Maine football, and your future general manager. Malcolm, as always, I appreciate you. God bless to you and the family. Much appreciation to our bond over the years. Thank you for staying connected with me, staying true to me. And it warms my heart that, when you try to build relationships as I do with student athletes early on, you hope that you can see the difference, that I'm not your typical media person. And I try to build relationships that last forever. And you're a testament to that actually happening. So I just want to thank you for letting me in so many years ago and for keeping me in your life to this point. It really means the world to me.
No, of course, and thank you. I mean, you were one of the first people that interviewed me way back in 2020. So I really enjoyed your interview then, and I really appreciate you taking time to keep talking to me and reaching out to me. And I really enjoyed our conversation for sure. Definitely meant a lot to me. Definitely a relationship that will continue for many years to come.
Malcolm Folk, a lot of stuff coming up. Him and I got to talk off the air. I got some thoughts.
Yeah.
So the Maine Black Bears and Malcolm, God bless to you. May God continue to guide your steps. And I look forward to you having a great and very happy and blessed new year.
I appreciate you, and likewise, Dan.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
See you.
Take care.
You too. That coming from Malcolm Folk one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, the Tank is here. That's right, folks. Tank Wilson going to be joining us in just a few moments. Dion Wilson Jr. will be here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, defensive lineman of the Syracuse Orange that is now a 2026 NFL draft prospect. So very excited to have Tank joining the show right after this fast break inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. This is Wake Up Call. Stay with us. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. We have a delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Caz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point, because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you know, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily? Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. Canine Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. Canine Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to caninecampground.com as well. That's KAMP ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. Canine Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose Canine Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Make sure you head out to Great Lakes Honda City today and let them know the DT sent you. They're open Monday through Saturday for sales and service. And of course, they're always available to you at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. A lot of stuff coming up here. One of the things that's been on my mind is what just happened in the NFL. 18 seasons. Almost 2 decades. And John Harbaugh has been fired. This doesn't make sense to me. He's made the playoffs numerous times. This team has become electric with Lamar Jackson, who is up for MVP time and time again. And this is a team that's a missed field goal away from going to the postseason. This was a team that pushed the Pittsburgh Steelers all the way to the brink, all the way to the final seconds of the final week of the regular season. And yet he doesn't have the Ravens' job right now. They lose 26-24 after a missed field goal at the last second. This isn't a team that was eliminated from the playoffs 5 weeks into the season. This isn't a team that was over for a long time. This isn't a team that didn't go through adversity, right? Lamar Jackson wasn't available for every game this season. They tried multiple different quarterbacks. So you're without your star quarterback. You're in the playoff hunt. You're right there with Pittsburgh. And it comes down to the final seconds of the final week of the regular season. That's the difference between you making the playoffs, not making the playoffs. And John Harbaugh gets fired? He signed a 3-year deal last offseason, was under contract through the 2028 season. In a statement, Baltimore owner Steve Bisciotti called the decision, quote, incredibly difficult. He said, quote, throughout what I firmly believe is a Hall of Fame coaching career, John has delivered a Super Bowl championship to Baltimore and served as a steadfast pillar of humility and leadership. He and his family have deeply embedded themselves in this community. For these profound contributions on and off the field, we should all be forever grateful. Our goal has always been and will always be to win championships. We strive to consistently perform at the highest level on the field and be a team and organization our fans take pride in. I will always be grateful for the extraordinary hard work and dedication displayed by John and his staff throughout the many successful years. End quote. Stupid. John Harbaugh, who's 63 years old, ranks 12th for most wins by a head coach in NFL history with 193, and guided the Ravens to a Super Bowl title in 2012. In leading the Ravens for 18 seasons, he was the second longest active coach in the NFL behind only Mike Tomlin, who's in his 19th season with the Steelers in the same division. Harbaugh said, quote, gratitude to the owner and organization who was willing to bring in a head coach who made his mark with special team success. A difficult thing to do, and appreciation for all the moments, all these years that are etched into eternity. End quote. But should we be surprised? This is an organization that couldn't figure things out with Lamar Jackson. Couldn't figure out how to extend his contract and make sure they protected him. So should we really be sitting here surprised about any of this? To me, this could end up being like the decision that was made a few years back when the Philadelphia Eagles decided to part ways with their multi-time NFC East champion coach who led them multiple times to the NFC divisional round, championship round. Remember when Andy Reid was washed up? Remember when Andy Reid couldn't coach anymore? They put him out to pasture, and after being fired by Philadelphia, was probably never going to coach again, and then went on to build a dynasty in Kansas City. Getting rid of John Harbaugh after not making the playoffs? I'm sorry, is this a team that consistently doesn't make the playoffs? No. Is this a team that had their quarterback at full go this year for every week? No. Is this a team that was out of the playoffs multiple weeks before the end of the season? No. They were a missed field goal out of the playoffs. This knee-jerk reaction by ownership of Baltimore, stupidity. In my opinion, stupidity. And it might be something that comes back and rears its ugly head in the future. I'm not wishing bad on Baltimore by any stretch of the imagination. I find this to be a very dumb move. Unless somebody had it out for John Harbaugh, unless he ruffled the wrong feathers, I don't know why you would get rid of a head coach who for 18 seasons has been guiding you and leading you and helping you. This doesn't make any sense to me at all. At all. So I'm looking at this decision saying to myself, who did John Harbaugh piss off? Because what good reason do you have to fire this coach? Shall we look at the Baltimore Ravens under John Harbaugh? This is how they've performed with him as their head coach. Shall we? So I'm going to go back to 2008 when he started. 11-5, 9-7, 12-4, 12-4, 10-6, won the Super Bowl that year. 8-8, that year was 2012. 8-8, 10-6, 5-11, 8-8, 9-7, 10-6, 14-12, 11-5, 8-9, 10-7, 13-4, 12-5, 8-9. So he's had 3 losing seasons since taking over the team in 2008. 2 of those losing seasons are 8-9. Only one of them is outside of that like equator line, which is the 5-11 season back in 2015. Before this season, this year of 8-9, he went 10-7, 13-4, and 12-5. Since taking over the team in 2008, he has made the postseason 12 times in 18 seasons. But he's worth firing. John Harbaugh. Okay. Well, congratulations, Baltimore Ravens. You just gave a bunch of NFL teams a late Christmas gift. Because as the Titans and the Giants and the Browns and the Raiders and so on and so forth and Falcons are looking for a new head coach, you just put a head coach out there that shouldn't be having to look for a job. Congrats. You'll see him soon. Probably. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back after this inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios.
Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. Make sure you make your way over to GG Cards and Breaks Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6 and on Sundays from 10 to 5. GG Cards and Breaks has singles, packs, boxes, graded cards, and all the supplies you need to protect your cards, travel with them, and showcase them. If you're looking for hockey, soccer, basketball, baseball, football, Disney, Lorcana, Garbage Pail Kids, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, One Piece, there's so many amazing things that help us stay big kids at GG Cards and Breaks. So feed that spirit, have some fun, and find your way to GG Cards and Breaks on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York today. Big time thanks to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. Was over in that direction yesterday. You can't miss it. The giant brick building with the double drive-thru is waiting for you today. Megan Sorber and her team love to present to you your Chick-fil-A favorites as well as those limited time snacks that you can get over at Chick-fil-A. So make sure you head over there today. Let them know the DT sent you and support Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, our newest Chick-fil-A in Central New York on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard, there to help the community and to give back to you with those wonderful flavors that you love. Back here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I apologize this morning as Dion Wilson Jr. had a schedule conflict. So 2 days in a row of scheduling conflicts. Sometimes that happens with live broadcasts, and it's unfortunate. I don't like it by any stretch of the imagination, but, you know, it's stuff that happens. We haven't had one in a very, very long time, and now we've had two in the same week. So hope to have Dion on soon, and I apologize to anybody that was waiting to have him on. We were waiting to have him on too. So hopefully we will soon, but scheduling change as these gentlemen get ready for the NFL draft. Things can kind of change on a dime. So we do appreciate having Deanna Williamson on the broadcast as well as Malcolm Folk. And, of course, we thank you for being with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Once the shows go live, they hop into the archives, and you can find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you got to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Big time thanks to our wonderful cast of partners here in Central and Upstate New York. Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel, DeWitt, where we will have a new Sunday here in 2026, and I can't wait to unveil it to you here in January. Make sure you stay close to our social media to find out when. Big time thanks to the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Myers Creek, Chick-fil-A Cicero, K9 Camp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, Game Point Sports Complex, Mother's Cupboard, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, K9 Campground Dog Boarding, Brian's Landing, Avicoli's, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. You'll find the Bobcats in the Bobcat Buzz every single month here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni. So make sure you check them out here with us. You can find all of our content with the Bobcats by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our BSC Syracuse playlist. The Bobcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, pardon me, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Bearcats every Tuesday during Bearcat Time at 10 a.m. Eastern Time weekly with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni. We already know that Lori Gleason is going to be our special guest coming up this week, and I can't wait to share that with you. Find all of our content with the Bearcats by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. And here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, we appreciate you being here with us, and we thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. The OCC Lasers that you heard from today, Onondaga Community College, are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Lazer Lounge every other week on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, like today with Deanna Williamson. We have student athletes, coaches, and administration joining us from OCC all throughout the year to tell their stories. We're just a few months into telling these stories. We've underpromised and over-delivered with the amount of content you've gotten from OCC, and we've had a tremendous response thanks to all of you. It's a school that's always should have had the spotlight, and I'm very proud to give it to them. And big time shout out to Rob Edson in heaven and Mike Borsch here on earth, as well as all the student athletes and coaches then, now, and to come. You can find all of our content with OCC by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our OCC playlist. The Lasers are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to onondagalazers.com and go Lasers. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, thanks to Deanna, thanks to Malcolm, thanks to you inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. For now, from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I say, God bless, no stress, do your best. Come out tonight and support West Genesee boys basketball, as I will be on site on location at the Wildcat Sports Pub, where we have been for over 8 years with West Genesee Athletics. We'll be there with Fred Kent and the student athletes and families of West Genesee boys basketball tonight, January 7th, starting at 5:30 p.m. We'll be live on stage with the team. Can't wait to see you there, and we look forward to talking with you soon. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and be good to each other.